FM 94, The Dark. JC hanging out with you here. It's a Wednesday night, and we're getting to know one of the bands we play here on The Dark. And on the phone right now, I'm talking to Jeff Rains. He's the lead singer, guitarist. He's everything, basically, of the band Rains. And, Jeff, how you doing, first of all?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Hey, we finally got 80-degree temperatures here in central Minnesota. We've gotten rid of the snow. We've gotten rid of the 30 below. How about down there in Fort Wayne, Indiana? Did you have a rough winter?
It was horrible. We finally got rid of it probably 3 weeks ago, but now it's just been nothing but thunderstorms. But I'll take it over the snow.
Yeah, but it's one after another, right? You can't just have nice weather, can you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, we want to get to
I'm
know...
standing outside right now, and I'm pretty sure it's about ready to storm again.
well, you guys can keep the storms down there. We'll just keep the nice sunshine up here, okay? And the band named Rains, why not? It's probably maybe you're the reason why it's raining down there all the time.
We used to go on tour, and every tour, I swear, it would just rain the whole tour. So one time, I think we were on tour with Evans Blue, and they said, we're naming the tour the Sunshine and Boobies Tour. And it didn't rain one time the whole tour.
Nice. So did you get
a kick out of the laminates we made, too?
Did you get a lot of sunshine and a lot of boobies?
Yeah, it was a fun tour.
That's another band, by the way, that I like. And I'm actually, the reason I got a hold of you here is, first of all, I want to know a little bit more about your band, but I personally really love the music that you play. And obviously, I want to know the history of the band a little bit and how Rains all came about. Tell us about that, Jeff.
This is actually the only band I've ever been in. I kind of had this idea in my head that I didn't want to be jumping around to different bands all the time. But I could never find musicians to join the band that would take it serious. So I just decided I'd do it on my own. So I started writing and recording all the instruments on my own, doing all the vocals. I actually produced the records on my own too. And one day, someone somewhere decided to play the first single, which was Liar. And I took that as some sort of sign, possibly stupidly, but decided to run with it, and just been going ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I heard that song. I think I saw that song on, it must have been a YouTube or something, and played it, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And in fact, after I saw that, I said, we need to start playing it here on these airwaves, and so we did. So, maybe we weren't supposed to, but we did here.
Right. It's been hard because I've never signed to a label. I've never really been interested in it. So everything that's happened, I've had to do on my own. So it's been just a huge battle the whole time. So it's like people say they love the music, but we don't have that major label pushing it. So it makes it tough.
It does.
It seems to be working.
It does. And that's one of the questions I was going to ask. Kind of as an independent artist, how difficult is it for you to get your music out there?
You have to be really good at business and just learning the business. And, that's one thing I think I did right from the beginning was just really pay attention and really try to pick stuff apart. And I would be under management that managed bands that were on labels, so that kind of gave me access to figure out who I wanted to work with and how things operated behind the scenes.
Before we started this interview, Jeff, I jokingly said, well, you're from Indiana, so you must have been a basketball player. But
right.
you had actually said you thought about that, but then figured that this might be a little bit better of a deal to do.
I was surprisingly a really good basketball player. I think I started varsity when I was a freshman. And then, like I said, one day I found my dad bought me a drum set, and he bought my brother a guitar. And we both realized we kind of sucked at each one, so we switched. And then I realized I could pick up chicks with the guitar. So things kind of took off from there.
And here you are now today, right?
Right.
Hey, obviously, one question I always ask the bands is how the name came about. This one looks pretty obvious. It's your last name. Is that how the name came about?
Yeah, I would be out playing, solo acoustic shows, and people just started referring to me as Rains. So I had a manager at one point that said, let's just go with that. I thought, all right, it's easy. It's not like I'll forget it. So.
And you mentioned, obviously, just briefly talking about the first single, Liar, that came out. Somebody started to hear that. They picked it up. And I believe it got a lot of plays also on Sirius XM Octane. Did it not?
It was huge. It was crazy, and it was weird because they didn't really like it, but at first, but I think it was just different enough that the listeners loved it. So I think it went top 5 on their top 15 countdown, and then the next 2 singles went number 1 on the countdown. So
and I don't know what it is either, but there's something about your voice that is so intriguing that just kind of sucks people in to your music. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I have, and it's really weird because I literally never wanted to be a singer. I just couldn't find anybody to sing, so I thought, well, screw it, I guess I'll try it.
Why not?
And now it's like, I guess I'm the singer and the drummer and the bass player and the guitar player.
All right, here's some questions for Jeff Rains from the band Rains. What's in your music collection that might shock me?
Country.
Okay.
Older country, like Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn type stuff. I don't know why, just lyrically, some of those artists really made sense to me. I think lyrically that's where a lot of my writing comes from as well.
I was just going to say, and a lot of times I ask that question because it kind of goes back to maybe even when you were growing up as a kid, maybe something your parents listened to or that, and so you grew up with that. Was that any influence at all?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my dad bought my brother a guitar, and he ended up giving it to me, but the stipulation was I had to learn so many songs every week that my dad would tell me to learn. So it was, the Zeppelin, Springsteen, all that older stuff. So, I mean, the newest music I really, really listen to is probably like the Seattle grunge scene. I just got obsessed with that whole era.
Absolutely, I'm sure that was, and obviously that really took off in the early '90s, didn't it?
Yeah, and I was actually only listening to country really until Woodstock '94, and my brother and I were watching the Green Day Mud Fight on this little 6-inch TV, and we're like, "Holy crap, this is amazing! We have to do this!" Like everything changed just then.
Boom.
So,
hey, what current band in active rock do you like right now? You'd asked about being at Rock on the Range. I really like this Nothing More band. I think they're about as different as you can get right now and be in active rock on the radio, Absolutely, yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But I mean, any band I tour with, I end up falling in love with because you get to hear that set every night for months and months at a time. So,
who are some of the bands that you've recently toured with or have toured with in the last few years?
We toured with Five Finger Death Punch, All That Remains, Hatebreed, which is a weird one, Blackstone Cherry, Cavo, Evans Blue, Framing Hanley. I mean, the list is probably smaller of people we haven't toured with.
What's it like? I actually about a month ago I had a chance to talk with Nixon from Framing Hanley, and actually I'm a pretty big fan of those guys too. What was it like touring with those guys? Do you remember?
It was awesome because we toured with them when their single Lollipop was number 1 on the charts. So every venue we'd go to was completely sold out, but it's kind of weird because it was sold out with 14-year-old girls. So it was like we were playing to middle schools, basically. But it was super fun.
Were they looking for somebody else to show up, and then all of a sudden Nixon and Framing Hanley come out?
Pretty much. I mean, you kind of felt bad because it's like these 14-year-olds only knew Lollipop.
Right.
So it's like Framing Hanley had to kind of just get through the rest of their set. And then the last song was always great. But
which actually
was super fun.
Yeah, I know, which actually they're starting to kind of get themselves back into this active rock thing after taking a long hiatus, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, they had a rough go at it with their former label and management and all that stuff. So it seems like they kind of regrouped and have things going again.
Hey, how about this? This is a very interesting question. I love to hear the answer of it. What artist would you like to cover one of your songs?
Oh, wow. I've never been asked that. That's crazy.
Well, there, now you can remember me by something, right?
I'd say if Lane Staley could come back,
okay.
I'd like to hear Alice in Chains do it.
Okay. Very cool. How about maybe a different genre? Maybe a country artist do one of your songs or something. Would there be? Or I don't know.
I mean, I'd love to hear like Garth Brooks do. I don't know if he should do Pressure or anything like that, but maybe pick something else. But
Yeah, look in my eyes, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Do a slow, sappy version of it.
yeah, exactly.
We're talking with Jeff Rains from the band Rains, and got a couple more off-the-wall questions for you. Well, maybe not so much off-the-wall, but if you had to put together a 3-band bill, it's Rains along with 2 other bands to play with. These bands don't even have to be in the active rock or, for that matter, any genre that you're currently in. And they don't even have to be bands that are no longer in existence. They could be no longer even alive. What other 2 bands would you love to have had the chance to play with?
I would say probably Alice in Chains, obviously, and Shinedown is a band I've never toured with, but I absolutely love seeing them live. So I'd love to do a tour with them at some point.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, what does it mean? And this might be a really kind of a tough question for you to answer, because I think a lot of your success has come off of Sirius XM radio and Octane. But what does it mean for you to hear your music on the radio? Have you had a chance to hear that?
Oh yeah, the first song Liar was pretty much 100% Octane, and then the next 2 songs I really did like a nationwide radio push. And just to be in some random town and be listening to their rock station and hear your voice coming through the speakers you can't even describe it. And just to show up to a random town and have people singing along, and it's unbelievable.
Hey, let's talk about your new album now. You've actually digitally released that in January, called From the Ashes. Talk about that in the making of that album.
I almost went through the same process as Framing Hanley did, where I was going through a lot of management changes, and luckily I didn't have to deal with the label side of it. But so I really had 3 years to kind of write and just figure out where I wanted to take this thing. It was kind of weird. The one that got released in January was actually a leaked demo version of the record.
Really? Okay.
And the record wasn't actually done yet, so I had to rush to finish it up because I started getting terrible reviews, like the quality sucks and all that. I'm like, well, yeah, that's the demos I did in my studio in my house. Of course, it's gonna be terrible. But
right.
so I think maybe end of February we actually put the real one out.
Okay.
And it's scary because the first record, nobody had heard us. Nobody had heard anything I'd done, so we didn't really have any expectations to meet. And then you start getting on the radio and start touring and stuff like that. And now the second record, people, it's like, well, you better not screw this up. So, and that's to be determined. I screwed it up.
You mentioned too, a lot of people hadn't heard of you, and then now the second record comes out. Is there ever any thought of maybe putting a re-release of the first songs back out again, or is that kind of long and gone? I know with Liar, I want to say you might have done that at one point. Did you do that or not?
Yeah, we kind of did. We kind of started feeling it out, but some of the people we were dealing with said, no, it's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, there's songs on that record that should have gotten a lot of exposure, but it was kind of like, well, let's tour and then be done with touring and finish the second record because people have been waiting for so long. So I could definitely see putting something together to re-release it the proper way.
Hey, Better Man is your current hit right now that you got out on radio. Talk about that song.
That song was one of the first ones I wrote for the new record. It really just kind of described my life at the time, what I was going through at the time, and it just kind of clicked. And even with taking the new single, I like to keep the fans as involved as possible. So we did a big Facebook poll and stuff like that, and that was the one they went with. So I figured that's the one we'd push.
How has that been received so far? I know we have the Sideshow Countdown with Nikki Sixx here, and I know that he had as one of his 6 picks a couple weeks back. Did that give it a big shot in the arm for you guys?
It did, and that makes sense. I actually didn't know about that. Probably a year ago, he got on the Rains Facebook, and I still have the picture of it, and all he wrote was cool songs. And I thought, Nikki Sixx just got on my Facebook page and wrote cool songs. That is insane. I thought it was unbelievable. But
yeah, well, maybe one of these days you'll get to have a chance to talk on his radio show even, huh?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I actually I did something in LA, I think Golden God Awards or something, and
Yep.
he was there. But I'm still like a fan at heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like standing next to him, and I couldn't even talk because Nikki Sixx. Yeah.
And I got to believe that you got people that come up to you that can't even talk too, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy because to me, it's just me. I just write songs.
Exactly.
It's no big deal. But then they're like, this song changed my life, and this song did this and got me through this. And I'm like, that's just insane. I remember the first video I saw of someone covering one of my songs, covering Liar, actually. It was some kid from somewhere in Africa, and he couldn't say any of the words right, but he did this whole cool music video of it, and I thought, this is just nuts that it can travel that far, and it connects with people, like that in other countries.
Very true, and that's the beauty of music. You know, it doesn't matter even sometimes what language it is, even the meaning. You might have had a different meaning for the song. Somebody else might take it in a different way, but if it connects with them, that's all that matters.
Yeah. There's a song, I'm not going to name the song because that would give too much away, but there's a song that was a single that I literally wrote about nothing, and I did it on purpose because a label I was talking to at the time said, we want a song that sounds like this, so it kind of made me mad. So I wrote, it's literally about nothing. And that's one of the songs most people come up and will say, oh man, this song means this to me. And
Right.
like I said, it got me through this situation. I'm like, that's crazy, but a song about nothing can even do it.
Hey, if it makes you money, puts people in the seats to watch it, and buys your albums, hey, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I mean, my main thing has always been, I got really sick of the music on the radio that's just, I don't know, all about drinking beer and doing drugs and having sex, and just that stuff's cheesy to me. So I just wanted to write real music and real lyrics. So even if it's a song about nothing, it's still real lyrics,
I hear you. We're talking with Jeff Rains from the band Rains. We just got a few moments left here to wrap things up. Minnesota, have you ever been up to Minnesota to tour before?
Yeah, quite a few times.
Okay. And in the future, any plans to coming up this way again?
Yeah, we actually have some really good friends in quite a few towns there, so every time we go out, we always hit Minnesota. I think my favorite place was, I can't remember what it's called, but we played it with Five Finger, and it was like this ballroom thing.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, there's some very fanatic fans up here in the active rock side, and I got to believe there's some fanatic Rains fans too. And obviously, we've been spinning Rains here on the radio for the last couple of years. The Dark has been around for 4 years now, and once I came across it, I just started playing it, and we've enjoyed it here.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
You know, the other thing I guess I'm going to ask too is how do people get more information about the band Rains? Where can they find out about you?
You can go to our Facebook. It's facebook.com/RainsMusic. Our Twitter is Twitter/RainsBand. But I don't know how to use Twitter, so if you get on there, I'm sorry. I have no idea. So I just post funny stuff.
I don't even have a Twitter account. Exactly.
I didn't know we had one, and I got on, there were like 20,000 people on it. I was like, oh, I guess I should do something about this.
Well, I was just going to say, your Facebook page, that's legit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because it was funny because I was talking with, I can't even remember the lead singer now of Mice and Men, and I was chatting with him, and he was saying, oh, yeah, I looked at it like, hey, you got like 180,000 likes or whatever. He's like, well, that's not even our page. That's like somebody made it up.
Yeah, I actually run our Facebook, and if anybody messages, they're talking to me, or if they comment, they're talking to me. So same with Twitter, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Hey, this has been a lot of fun, and getting to know about your band a little bit more and getting to know about you more personally, Jeff. And guess what? We're going to play your latest song right now. Sound good?
Hell yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, once again, that is Jeff Rains from the band Rains. This is their latest song. It's called Better Man.